Welcome back to Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists. This week on the show, oops, it's private. It's private chefs.
Celebrities have a wealth of money that they can use to do whatever they want with. And one of the biggest things they do is hire people to cook their meals. We're talking to some of the most well-known by famous people, private chefs in Hollywood.
So saute those peppers and put the foie gras in the fridge, and let's listen in.
I just spilled all over myself.
Oh my god!
I just spilled all over myself. They call me the messy chef.
Oh
so
my god!
I guess I'm living up to my name.
No way! No way!
I guess I'm living up to my name.
No way!
Anyways.
I love it.
What'd you say?
I love that you're the messy chef.
Yeah, I like being a messy chef, you know. My clients don't always like it, but certainly sometimes who I am.
Yeah, of course.
What an incredible group of people we have here.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see you all. I know I've met some of you at the private chef mixers.
yeah.
I know we don't get to, as a private chef, I would say our jobs are quite solitary. It's often me, my phone, and a bunch of grocery stores. That's my coworkers are the grocery stores I frequent, I would say.
Honestly, and I look forward every year to the mixer. Which is the only day I'm allowed away, of course, because my boss signed an NDA, can't say the name.
Well, I appreciate that.
Keeps me on the compound 24/7.
Yeah.
I'm rarely let out.
Is it a compound?
It is a compound. It's a compound in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Compound in Beverly Hills, and he saw me. I was working at a wonderful restaurant, a Michelin star, and he tasted my eggs. And he said,
Your scrambled egg.
My scrambled eggs. And he said, I have to have you. And I said, I'd be far too expensive. And he offered me millions of dollars. And he said, come with me to my compound. And then during COVID, he said, you have to stay. And I did.
You now by have to. What happens if you don't?
The hounds.
The house.
Oh, the hounds.
Yeah.
The hounds. That's actually a pretty typical occupational hazard in our industry.
I'm going to be honest. I'm surprised you're scared of the hounds. As chefs, we have a lot of tools at our disposal. You know, throwing a big steak is probably the number one thing I think of when it comes to the hounds.
Throwing a large steak.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to leave any sort of place. I mean, I'm kind of a risk taker. I'm kind of an interesting guy, but
Of course.
you know, I can't believe you haven't tried to escape. Maybe you don't want to.
I think my employer is he's always 4 steps ahead.
Sure.
It's very smart. Creates a lot of software.
Sure.
Yes.
And so he doesn't allow me
Software?
sharp tools. Yes.
Okay.
I can't say more than that, and I won't.
Okay.
Of course.
But the knives he gives me are child's play knives, plastic, of course. So there's nothing to be done. As far as the steaks go, they're under lock and key. I have to use a code to activate. If I take too many steak, the alarm goes off. The hounds are loosed, and the chef hounds.
My God.
It's so difficult when the hounds are loosed. My hounds were loosed in the Hamptons. That was my first time that the hounds were loosed on me. I cannot say, but her name rhymes with Shartha Puert. That's what I call her on the message boards, at least.
You call her Sharda Puert?
I call her Shartha Puert on the message boards. And it's
Sometimes
just a
I
little
eat
joke.
too much ratatouille and I shard a port myself.
Oh, wow.
Little chef humor.
Crass,
Little
crass,
chef humor
little
there.
chef humor. This is the kind of stuff that happens only at the mixer.
Only
Only at the
Yeah.
mixer. We get so crass.
Let's go around. Let's
we
say our
should
names.
go
Because
around.
usually I don't remember you guys after the mixer because I'm usually had a little pin on the wall.
Well, it's basically the biggest industry night, right? Like, it's basically us getting together, but we're not line cooks together. You know, I'm come from the line cook world, so that's who I was, that's who I am, that's who I always will be.
I love that.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
listen, we don't have a
course.
union, but the fact that we have a mixer is crazy, okay? We all individually have our own thing, own contracts, own NDAs, own the whole thing. We don't have a union at all, but here
Just
we do have-
logistically, how do you get the emails is my question. How do they have all our emails?
And who sends them? Who puts on the mixer? I don't know, but we go every year.
Yeah.
Well,
Since we don't have name tags on because this isn't the mixer,
No.
of course.
Of
Of
course,
course,
we
of
have to
course.
say our names.
So one at a time.
Please.
And you, the gruff gentleman.
The gruff. Okay. Hello, I am Stuart Buert the Gruff. I added that. I'm Stuart Buert. I'm Stuart Buert, and
Pretty close to Puert. Go ahead.
maybe that's why that joke came so natural.
Maybe because I was staring at Puert over there and I went, ha 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 ha. Wouldn't it be funny? But go ahead.
Stuart Buert.
I digress. I digress.
Boo, B-O-O-E-R-T. I am...
Exactly how I thought it was.
Okay, good. Just in case there was any misunderstandings in the room. I'm Stuart Buert. I grew up in the Valley of California. Sorry, I'm figuring it out. I grew up in the Valley of California.
Now, Valley of LA or Valley of California as in like the Central Valley?
The
Sorry.
Central Valley. I am the only chef to come out of Bakersfield. Is that the Central Valley?
There's no way to know.
No way to know. Sorry, guys. I'm not used to talking. I'm used to cooking. Anyway, Stuart Buert here from the Valley.
And the only chef to come out of Bakersfield
Only
ever.
chef to ever come out of Bakersfield. And yeah, I work for a lot of people, and I can't really say who I work for, but I'll say it's a Real Housewife, if you know who I mean.
Yes.
Like one of the Real Housewives.
Her husband works, but she doesn't.
One of the Real Housewives.
I feel like you're trying to communicate telepathically.
Yes. That's me. Who's next?
Okay, well, go ahead.
No, you're already
go
geared up,
ahead.
and I want to hear you go. Go
Oh,
for it.
stop. I've already loaded up the truck and I'm ready to sit. Hi, everybody. I am
Meow.
Samantha St. Clair, and I am a private chef for celebrities who are women in their second act. So women of a certain age who are divorced, that is a requirement. I don't work with women on their first marriage because that's when things get tough. But women
That's
on
a
their
pro.
second marriage or women who have been divorced once have a sort of je ne sais quoi about life, a sort of easy breezy beautiful, a sort of Nancy Meyers aesthetic to their kitchen that I find I work better with.
We'll get into this because I work for a lot of divorcees as well.
Really?
But on the first marriage, you're right. It's not a good idea to work for someone who recently got divorced because you basically become a surrogate wife or husband for them. They are so hell-bent on making sure that you kind of fit that role. They're not ready to realize. And then there's always some inevitable moment where they cry in the kitchen and you have to console them, but your hands are covered in noodles or whatever. And
my
it's a
God.
weird situation. So you
Do
got to
you
wait for the
hand
second
make your
marriage.
noodles?
I hand make my noodles. Yeah, I use a press. Obviously, I don't hand make my noodles. I put them through a machine.
Oh, I hand make them.
You hand make spaghetti?
Yeah, I kind of go like
How
this.
do you make it flat?
Well, there's many parts
Like
of your hand,
fettuccine.
right? So
Sure.
they're my fingers, which I call the scramblers. That's when you make that's when you sort of twist the noodles around. Then I have the palm of my hand. That's what I call the flattener.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the mixer, this is sort of the arm.
She has the most incredible technique for making ravioli, wherein she
Ugh.
slams both of her fists down on the pasta like an ape. And
And I look like an angry
she looks like an ape. She
ape, like
puts
King
the
Kong.
and slams them
That's
on the ground like
scary.
an ape. And the pasta is paper thin, translucent. You
Yes.
can see through it.
Yes.
You sell
Yes.
that merch on your website, right? Keep utensils to yourself. You
Keep
use
utensils
everything.
to
That's
yourself. Yes. No, I don't use utensils because
Yeah.
I'm reasonable. I like to save my clients money any way they can. And
Good
I
for
find that one way, they're spending so much time on their lawyers and
Totally.
everything. And so it's like, if I can save them money by not buying utensils, I will. And
Good
because
for
I
you.
care. And, that gets folded back into my rate. And I'm so glad that you saw that. I'm glad you saw my masterclass online.
I've seen everything. She does the most incredible thing because she doesn't use utensils. She'll turn her hand into a kind of ladle and she'll stick it directly into hot soup
Yes.
and just pour an entire bowl's worth of soup from a ladle hand.
And that was something I had to pain condition myself for many, many years.
Callus.
Until I callus over, and now I can, those bacteria that live in volcanoos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, delicious.
Yes,
So good.
And-
put a little jelly on them.
with a glass of
that
Merlot
in a translucent
exquisite.
ravioli.
Exquisite.
Can I say,
Exquisite.
does anybody
I
find
am
it disgusting what you do with your hands?
Yes, there have been some celebrities who didn't like what I do with my hands, but that was mostly in the bedroom.
Interesting.
Yes.
When you okay, all right.
Well, I'll introduce myself real quick. My name is Dustin Rush, Dusty Rush, as you might know me. As I told you, line cook through and through. I did that my whole life. And worked in West Hollywood, worked right next to the Roxy, and now I find myself the personal chef for a lot of older rock stars of a certain age. Again, mostly divorced. They want some guy who knows how to cook stuff, but they don't want some fancy pants. You know, they want some rough, gruff guy who runs around. They want to feel a little bit of chaos in their kitchen. So I'm always running behind. Even if it's a giant kitchen and there's nobody there, they want the vibe of a messy, dirty, grungy bar and grill. So that's what I like to bring.
Okay, and I will say there's nothing wrong with fancy. There's actually nothing wrong with to be fancy is to be brave.
Sure.
Whoa! I loved that.
Sure. And look, I read that poem too when I was a kid. They read that to me in 4th grade. To be fancy is to be
Yes,
brave.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, my favorite Edgar Allan Poe poem. To be fancy is to be brave.
To be fancy is to be brave.
And the rest of it got
One
so spooky.
sentence, gut-wrenching.
Yeah, the rest of it is about an exposed brain that's being eaten by a black cat.
Oh, I only read the first sentence.
Yeah.
And on that note, my name is Steuben Macadamia. I attended the Harvard School of Deep Frying. I spent years in service at Republique. Maybe you've heard of it.
And thank you for your service.
Republic. I love Republic.
Also, can we get a time check how long it took this guy to mention that he went to Harvard?
Shut the fuck up.
Whoa.
And
It's getting like the oven's on.
was in charge.
It is getting like the oven's on. It's getting like the oven's
It's
on.
getting like the oven's on
Of
here.
course. Go ahead, Crimson Tide. Or is that a different school?
That's Alabama.
Okay, never mind.
No, you're thinking of roll the ovens.
I'm thinking of roll the
Roll
ovens
the
up.
ovens.
It's getting like the oven's
Roll the ovens up.
Anyway, I was in charge of peeling. Grapes, eggs, anything that needed to be peeled, I peeled it in preparation for it to be slid down the gullets of our consumers.
And now you're working for
Republique. Because Republique has this amazing section, which I don't know if regular customers of Republique, but there is a VIP section where there's sort of a conveyor belt for celebrities'
Yes,
food, right?
VIP, very into peeled.
No, that's what it means there.
Yes, of course. And so,
Very
yes,
into peel.
yes, very into peel.
very into
and so
peel.
there's a conveyor belt of peeled items
VIP.
just for our guests, and it dumps them
Straight down the gullet, yes.
into their open mouths.
Now, how long were you at Republique before you moved to the compound?
Oh, days. I was there for days. He tried my eggs. He came in. He tried my eggs, and he said, "I have to have him." And he's not a celebrity in the traditional sense, but he has a lot of money. You'll never see him on TV, but you use his oil to run your car.
Little breadcrumbs. It's like Italian breadcrumbs on the
Well,
floor.
I
You
can't
use
say who.
his motor. You use his oil to run your car.
Ricky Texaco?
I can't say.
Okay. I
Use
don't think
your
it is.
oil to run his. Jeremy AutoZone.
It is Jeremy Ottoson.
Oh, it was the second
Two
one.
guesses.
Two guesses. I was going to
guesses
guess
and
something
we
too,
got
but
it.
you got it.
Two guesses and
It's
we
two
got it.
guesses. You guys are too good at this game.
We're too good at this game.
too
Wow,
good at
you've
this
been on
game.
that
Jeremy
compound for how long?
AutoZone.
Oh, for I've been on that compound for 2.5 years.
Oh, my God.
What's fascinating is usually when you cook for a celebrity chef, you cook for the family as well.
100% the
Yes.
kiddos.
Totally.
I cook for a single man who's not interested in romance, not interested in a family or children.
Yes.
And he eats so many meals every day. 12 meals. He has a hummingbird disease.
12 a day.
Yes.
A disease he got from a hummingbird, or it's named after hummingbirds?
He was bitten by a hummingbird, and so now he has to eat 12 meals a day like a hummingbird, or he will die.
Quite the Spider-Man effect.
Yes, he got
Bit
the
by it, now
metabolism.
acts like it.
yes.
Does he go into torpor at night too?
He does go. Oh, you can't even sense a heartbeat.
Wow.
You can't.
My God.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I tell you, you probably get away with not having to do all the stupid shit you always have to do for the rest of the family. Let me tell you, a part of me dies every time I'm cooking for my client, and then my client's kids want me to cook carrot sticks for them. You mean just take out carrot sticks out of the snack pack and put it on a plate?
Well, that's the interesting thing is a lot of rich people don't know how their food gets there. So I will say that a lot of times if they ask, can I have those little crackers you make with the little cheese in the middle?
Yes.
What I'm putting on a plate is those Ritz cheese cracker sandwiches. But they think I've made it. They
And
think
sometimes
I've
I
made it
try
up.
to because I'm bored. I tried to cook a gusher. Impossible.
Oh, it's not.
It was
It's
impossible.
not, well,
Impossible.
Did you say impossible or impossible?
I said impossible.
Okay.
I'm a chef. I say impossible.
Very impossible. It's
We all
you've
say
got pasta
impossible,
on the
I'm sorry.
brain. Yes. So really, you couldn't figure out how to cook a gusher?
You try. Please. I gotta know how you guys would make a gusher.
I definitely know how to cook a gusher. How'd you guys do a gusher?
And would you like to start?
Well, of course. Well, I use the Adler technique where you strain
Stella Adler technique.
Yeah.
Yes, the
actress,
Stella Adler's technique for cooking gushers, where you melt a fruit roll up above and then you demi-glaze it with fire, and then 2 seconds in the fridge, 2 seconds in the freezer, 2 seconds in the oven, flip, flap, flop, and then you got a gusher.
Yes, I'll do a corn syrup beurre blanc.
Nice,
And on
nice.
top of that, I'll put a single contact lens on the top and a single contact lens on the
Interesting.
bottom.
Nearsighted or farsighted is the vision.
Yes.
It depends on if you want it to pop or to burst.
Right, because
Nearsighted to pop,
Because I prefer
farsighted to
burst. I prefer burst.
So
Yeah.
farsighted to burst.
How would you cook a gusher?
well, here's the thing. I just want to be clear. A far-sighted contact is usually plastic, and a near-sighted contact is usually a harder glass, some
Exactly.
sort of specific thing. So it
Yes.
is going to change things a lot.
It's gonna burst.
How are you
good
cooking a
first.
gusher?
Well, I'm easy. I'm gonna Wellington that thing. I'm gonna wrap it in a flaky pastry, and I'm gonna cook it. It's gonna be a
What's
tiny
the
little
thing?
Wellington.
What's the thing?
What do you mean?
A fruit?
The gusher.
So I'm asking how you cook a gusher.
I'm taking the gusher.
Yeah.
I'm wrapping it in a nice flaky pastry. I'm putting it in the oven at 400 for 45 minutes.
What's difficult to understand?
I don't know. I'm a simple man.
But if you've ever caramelized a gusher, this is a quick private chef hack.
You gotta
If
listen
you
to this.
You should listen to this.
Okay.
Caramelize a gusher, each side 20 minutes on the stove with some butter or vegetable oil, whichever you have. Peanut oil is preferred, but I don't usually go that way. And then you could put them in the freezer for later, and then you throw them in the pan anytime you need to add them as a topping.
That's
And
fine.
Here's another good private chef tip
Yeah.
along the lines of gusher. If you buy a gusher from the store,
Yeah.
you
It's usually
get-
what I do.
Yeah, you get a tiny hose and you rinse out the inside of it.
This is really good.
This is good. This is
Rinse
good.
out the inside of it. You stuff it with some kind of a spiced meat or something.
A spiced meat?
Yeah, you can make the most delightful little empanadas. But you have to rinse them out first. You
It sounds like a
have to rinse
fruit
them out.
You have
empanada.
to rinse them out.
It is and-
disaster if you don't.
And only chefs know this, right? Clip this as a TikTok. Only chefs know this. Only chefs know this. When you clean a gusher out,
Yeah.
it looks completely different. The skin without the juice is ghastly. It's strange looking.
Well,
so you gotta
have you
fill it
cleaned
with
out a
meat.
ravioli?
Yeah, I've made a ravioli.
No,
I mean,
have you cleaned one out?
cleaned one out?
Have you cleaned out a Pop-Tart?
No.
cleaned
no,
it
I've never
out?
done that.
I have cleaned out a Pop-Tart with a hose.
Oh, you still
With a
use a
hose?
hose because
With
that
a
actually
hose.
might make the rest of it wet. That's what I've
Yes.
struggled with. So I
And
use
then
a
I got
vacuum.
oatmeal.
Man, I wish I could get this creative with cooking.
Yeah, it's very
I really
provincial.
wish when I'm cooking for my newly divorced single dads.
Can you name one, please?
Yeah, I'll name a bunch of them. Axl Rose,
Whoa!
Slash,
Wow.
John Bon Jovi.
How does Slash like his coffee in the morning?
He likes it drunk. It doesn't matter. That's the thing. What I'm saying, I want to be in there and I'm ready to go. I cook and I look. I worked at so many cool places and I tried to go and pick a bunch of stuff that I can make. And I'm like, this guy's gonna really love this really, really, really good tagliatelle or something like that, right? And then he comes in and he goes, I don't know, just another frozen pizza. And I'm like, man, you hired me. You know what I mean? You got a private chef.
Yeah.
I can make something nice. Oh, I don't know, dinosaur
they don't
chicken
know.
nuggets. Yeah. And I'm like,
God,
dude, man, come on.
They don't
don't have
know. They
taste.
don't know what's possible.
I mean, you mentioned earlier they don't know where food comes from.
No.
My guy, one day he asked me, he said, is it cow season yet? Are
What?
the cows ripe? I said, what the hell are you talking about? He thinks that meat ripens,
Comes in and out.
It comes in and out. There's a season for flesh. I said, that doesn't make any sense. You're not eating the steak out of season. You just get it whenever. But he thinks there's a cow season, a chicken season. He said, no, this tastes like a hot house. This tastes like a hot house beef patty. And I said, surely it isn't. It's just a heifer.
What does he mean by hothouse beef patty?
He thinks it was grown in a greenhouse out of season, but it's not.
Oh, yes.
It's
Common
hard.
mistake. They don't know. They
It's
don't
hard
know.
being the smartest one in the room.
They don't know. They wanted me to get Greek yogurt fresh caught. And I don't really know I don't really know how to do that. They expect me.
Awesome. You guys are getting Greek yogurt, fresh caught meat. I'm getting Gusher. Sorry, continue. I shouldn't interrupted you.
That's basically it. They think they have this picture in their mind because they've heard from, lots of their liberal showbiz friends, well, you want to be ethical about the farms that you get from, the things that you source from. Have you run into any trouble sourcing things? Because I know that a lot of clients, they really want the cream of the crop, the best ingredients possible. I know that I've run into some trouble with that.
Yeah, you know what? I will be honest. I have run into some trouble. John Mellencamp wanted a very specific Sprite that was made in 1969 to taste just like that summer. And I had to tell him, my man, I can't get you one of those.
Civil rights Sprite.
Civil rights Sprite. Exactly.
Oh, and I heard
Yes.
Sprite Remix was trying to taste a little bit like civil rights.
Yeah,
Sprite.
and they deemed that pretty racist. They said you shouldn't call it remix if we're doing civil rights.
They pretty
Call
racist.
it remix.
But we caught their asses.
We got their asses and we got them. But yeah, John Mellencamp is stuck in the summer of '69, and it's sad for him, and it sucks for me because I have to go back and then I'm talking to these people that sell like World War II rations on eBay to see if they have vintage Sprite, and it's just like, come on, man.
Well, that's fascinating. Do you have relationships with any producers or growers or people who acquire any of the ingredients?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anybody here? Yeah. I don't. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
It's a good question because I go to Vons.
I'll take that one.
I
Does
go to
anybody else
Vons.
know?
I have a Vons club card, and I go to Vons. Yeah.
You go to Vons.
I go to Vons.
Okay.
Lisa Renna loves Vons.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I go straight to Vons and I get my stuff. What about you guys? You guys go straight to a grower?
I do, yes. Especially my boss, my guy, he loves minerals. He loves them.
Wow.
So there's this wonderful little mine in somewhere in East Asia. And that's where I get all of his iron. He doesn't like it in tablets and bottles. He likes his iron supplements literally chipped from a piece of iron.
Wow.
So I get that and I chip it a little bit into his sorghum gruel that he has every morning for breakfast. I shave a little into his sorghum gruel because he's terribly anemic. He's anxious and he's anemic and he needs the iron badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other minerals as well.
That's fascinating.
No, I'll tell you this. I feel like I feel as if you're talking about his minerals in the morning.
There's something about what you just did that kind of entranced all of us.
We all went. Absolutely.
We kind of became somebody new.
all
Yes,
Well, let me-
absolutely. We all feel a little changed after hearing that. We all feel a little changed in many various ways.
Let me tell you, you're talking about minerals, and I do want to talk. It's a bunch of chefs at a table. Sometimes I feel like if you bring private chefs around a room, it's basically like bringing a bunch of juicers and acai bowl makers now, because that's all they want.
That's all they
That's
want.
all they want.
That's
like, we're
all they
glorified
want.
Jamba juices
Let
on
us
the go.
run, yeah.
And like you're making mineral water or whatever the fuck that is.
Sorghum.
I make the amount of acai bowls I am making. Acai bowls.
Oh, well, acai bowls are much harder to source. They're
yes.
much more difficult.
Yes, and I still go to Vons. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Well, yes, I'd say that I actually have to source a lot of my clients heard from a friend, and I don't know who this friend is, but I think her name rhymes with Poolia Mubberts, and she's been spreading something about how you should be eating beef.
It's always poo with you.
Always Puglia.
What can I say? I've got poo on the brain.
Okay, explains it, my friend.
If you work in this industry, let's get into it, right? Because we're only talking about the eating part. We never talk about the poo.
All
part.
drains lead to the ocean, right?
Yes.
Show me a private chef that doesn't have poo on the brain, and I'll wait.
And I'll wait. Anyway, Julia Roberts, or as I call her, Poolia Bobberts, has been spreading
So
this.
you just said her name.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, go ahead. Why did you make it?
There's no purpose.
We
if
have to
you're gonna
edit
say
that
their
out.
name.
She's gonna euthanize you.
So yeah, she's actually going to come for me. So
Yeah.
we're going to make some creative edits. She's been spreading this rumor that bee pollen is good for attracting wealthy, well-to-do men.
Oh
and
my
so they've been asking for bees, but we also know that the bees are going extinct. There's problems with the bees.
Sure.
So they're looking for bees who have a lust for life. That's the request. And so I have to go visit beekeepers. I scout them on TikTok. I scout a lot of beekeepers on TikTok
Good for you.
to see who has the best vibes, to see whose bees have the best vibes. And then I have to go all over the country. And I got to say, that's most of my job.
Can I
That's
ask
been
you,
most of it.
has Puglia ever tried to poach you? Have any of you ever almost been poached by?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've poached an egg.
I think we're talking about clients
in a
that
career
want
sense,
Yeah.
in a career sense.
Yeah, the Stranger Things boys want to have me separately. All of them want them
Because of your grilled
specifically-
cheeses.
Exactly, but they're not ready because they don't have enough angst, and I know they're going to make me work too hard, to be honest.
You have to wait until they mature.
I got to wait until they need me. You know what I mean? You can't want me. You got to need me.
I don't know though. I feel like these out of work rock stars are the ones that want the frozen food, and I feel like if you got someone younger, maybe they would test your culinary skills more. Because I'll tell you, there's nothing sadder than a man with a frozen pizza saying behind, because there's nobody in there. You're by yourself.
It's giant, and they're watching from the patio. You know, they go back and forth between watching a hummingbird, thinking that's a sign that their ex-wife is trying to reach out to them, and then looking back at me, screaming behind to an empty, vacuous kitchen. Right? But the problem is, I feel an emotional connection to these guys. I feel for them. I look out for them. You know, they see me as some sort of young guy that can bring energy back into their life. I kind of. I've gotten used to the amount of work. I don't want to do the work that Gaten Matarazzo wants me to do for him. You know what I mean? From what I hear, he loves to do surprise buffets for all of his friends.
Oh, that's the social ones are the ones you got to watch out
yeah,
for. Truly.
the social ones are
Where they go,
rough.
wake up! I want to make empanadas. It's 3 a.m. and I'm on coke.
And my boys are here. Yes,
know,
no,
it's-
could never be me.
It's for that reason that I can't work for Brian Cox, and he wants me to work for him very badly. He keeps setting Looney Tunes style traps. Looney Tunes style traps.
Brian Cox setting a Looney Tunes style trap is wow.
I'm nervous for his back.
Yes.
I'm nervous. He shouldn't be. He should be outsourcing that to someone else.
He's
What's
trying
he
to
doing?
trap you to cook him what?
Yeah, he wants to trap me and take me on as his cook. What he'll do is sometimes he'll put a beautiful pile of Concord grapes on the sidewalk, and above it'll be like a piano or a cage or something. And when I reach for the grapes, he'll drop it or something, and I'll get away. I'll sneak out at the last second, and I'll say, "Oh, you win this time." Or sometimes he'll draw a beautiful, elaborate tunnel on a wall, and as I try to walk through it, he tries to get me with a big old net or something. And it's hard. I don't know if I'd want to work for him just because he does have a lot of parties. He has a lot of functions.
Yeah.
He loves cheese, heavy cheese, too heavy for one person.
Bechamel, right? He's a Bechamel babe.
He's a bechamel. And
Oh, that is a good one. Let's go back and break that down. Bechamel's a cheese.
Yeah, I guess we can break it
I
down.
think, we can break that down further. So the way that I interpreted that was there's something called a beta male, and bechamel sounds quite similar to that. Yeah.
So I actually wasn't even going that far to beta.
I-
Were you
I-
thinking
I
beta?
didn't know.
I was just
didn't
going
know
cheese.
it was a
Know
beta.
that.
Cheese to man.
Presence of a genius.
Yeah.
well,
Thank God I said let's break it down.
I guess I see things a little differently.
If I didn't stop this to talk about that, we wouldn't have known.
We never would have known.
That's true.
And
We
it just
never
goes
would
to
have known.
show.
And speaking of seeing things a little differently, is there a traditional recipe that you all put your fun little twist on?
Great question.
I
Oh,
love that
great
question.
question.
Great question.
I do an angry ice cream. A furious ice cream. It's
A la
sort
carte?
a la carte, yes, on request. And
You guys use
there's-
the phrase a la carte when you're cooking for one person?
Yes, a la carte.
You guys itemize your menus like that?
Yes, do you want it a la carte or do you want it freestyle?
Whoops, I meant a la mode.
You mean ice cream a la mode? Yes. Well,
Psycho Devons.
you can get the ice cream a la mode if you want. That's just another scoop of ice cream, but I can't make the second scoop angry. I can only make the base scoop angry. I go to this cow that has a lot of issues.
How do you know he's got issues?
Well, the farmer is absolutely traumatized. I go to this traumatized farmer who has just been broken down in tears by trying to milk this angry, angry cow. And I feel bad for the cow.
Okay, so they're not medical issues, they're anger issues.
they're anger issues.
I thought the cow was sick.
I wouldn't use sick cow milk. No, I wouldn't do that. So I'm
No,
glad
it's
to hear
not
it's
a
angry.
mad cow, as in mad cow disease. It's an angry cow.
Oh, he's in an a
as
la
in he's got a
mood.
short fuse
lady.
because
Hold
his
on.
dad was angry.
He's in an a la mood.
Wait, what is it? What are we?
A la mode.
Oh, as in a la mood.
Yeah.
Yes, I got it.
Cow with a lot of issues. Sounds like my mother. Anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah, we can't win them all.
Neither.
Okay.
Yeah, I
What's
didn't like
your
that very
dish?
much. I actually didn't like that. I think mothers are all angels. And I actually, if my mom's watching, that wasn't
what
about
are you,
you,
single
Mom.
and trying to date?
What?
Feels like you're pandering.
I'm not pandering. I just think moms are beautiful, and I'm not going to disparage them because some chef from a cult tells me that I should.
It's not a cult, it's Harvard University. And I went to the school.
Talking
of
about the
fire.
compound you're on.
Oh, of course.
Is it a cult? Is it a cult if it's just two people?
Are there other people there?
I never see them, but they are.
Oh,
Do you hear them?
Oh,
The other
no.
servants have to use the tunnels.
Oh.
But what's a dish you have that you have a fun twist on? You have an angry ice cream. What about you?
Imagine a hot gazpacho.
Tomato
soup?
soup? Tomato soup?
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Lumpy tomato soup.
I'm so sorry. We've all been there. We've
I'm sorry,
all been
man.
there. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, man.
I'm so sorry.
We could never find out.
No. Jeremy
didn't-
AutoZone will never find out.
At least you didn't call it the Gestapo. I always do that. I go, time for a
You
bowl of
always
Gestapo.
do that.
You always do that, huh?
Always time for a little joke.
Don't cry.
Oh, don't
Are
cry.
you about to cry?
Oh, don't cry.
Don't cry. Don't
It's
cry.
your first
don't cry.
time out of the compound in a while, I imagine.
You're next.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So a dish that I like to do, one of my favorite things is I make a cobbler, but with honeycomb. And so it's a little crunchy. It's a little interesting. It's honeycomb and apple. And that's one of my favorite things when I'm not working for one of these guys. One thing that I like to do for these guys, it usually seems to cheer them up, is I make a single funfetti cupcake. And I put the Dunkaroos frosting on top of it.
Whoa.
And so it tastes like Dunkaroos for them, which reminds them of when they're hanging out with their kids, which they usually are missing when I'm hanging out with them.
You mean tomato soup?
No, it's actually completely different. And I understand your hurt, man.
I
your
understand,
hurt.
and that's not going to work for the things we say.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
understand. I understand.
That's not a burn for anyone but you in that specific
You
situation.
got one on me really good.
That was a specific situation.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I think it sounds good. I bet the spices are different than a normal tomato soup. So
No.
Maybe it's lukewarm.
No, I get it. I get it from the can and I put it in the fridge. And then it's gazpacho, and then I heat it up, and then it's soup. I'm a fraud.
Oh.
No.
They only taught me to
no.
fry at the Harvard School of Frying.
Oh, right. You went to a very
I forgot
specific
you're a
school.
fryer.
I taught myself how to peel, but those are the only two things.
And I guess you peeled the can open.
It's the only two things I really know how to do. Exactly.
And you could peel a can open.
A can can be peeled.
So how did you get? How did you get Oh, you already went into how you got discovered. You did. Well, you did. Well, how did you guys get discovered?
Well, I do want to ask your dish that you make.
I'll
Oh,
tell you
yes.
both. I don't get to make this a lot for all the housewives I work for. Erica Jane used to love it, but then she stopped, and Bethany Frankel loved it too. I make a Caesar salad, croutons only. So it's really a bowl of small, crunchy bread,
Yes.
and it's incredible.
Wow.
How many salad mixes do you have to buy and throw out to just get those little packets?
A ton, because I'm going to Ralph's.
I know.
So I get all those mixes, and I just get the croutons. I'll put the cheese in there, put the dressing, but just basically no lettuce. So I make salad chips.
Yeah. You know, I have to ask.
That's so crazy.
You know.
It's
You ever
sort of
just decide to
salad
make salad chips?
Yes,
No.
yes, salad chips.
Yes. I have to ask. We're all very concerned about naming our bosses, but it seems like it's the case that you reflexively name. Do the housewives want each other to know what they're?
So I
doing?
have the opposite of an NDA. And you guys said NDA. I thought we had an NDA. Mine is
You have a DA. a disclosure agreement.
Disclosure.
Disclose us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, because
DDU.
the housewives, they all
What?
they want anytime.
A DDU? Do disclose us?
Oh.
DDU. Yeah. I sign anything they give to me, but I did. Yeah, I did cook for Judd Apatow back in the day, the only celebrity I've ever cooked for, and I was huge at the time. But then I started working only for the housewives because they just recommended me. I never had to put my name out there ever again because they just ping pong me all around. And yeah, so they want any press I do, I illegally have to say I work for them. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the icing on the cupcake. You hit the parsley on top of the meatball.
Yes, exactly.
You guys
we
know
did.
that when you hit the
I
person
know
on top
that.
of the
I
meatball?
love
Oh,
it.
I've
it's
heard
getting
that.
hot in here, the
That's
oven.
a great yes.
I slap my
yes.
meatballs like it's the hood of a car.
Okay,
Yes.
last meal before you die. Go.
Oh, what our last meal
we're
would
about
be
To cook
die.
or
to
to
cook
eat?
or to eat.
You decide.
Okay.
To cook.
To cook.
Client is dying tomorrow.
Oh,
My
God.
client is dying tomorrow.
Oh, that's a tough question. I've dealt with a lot of that with my aging rockers. It's been a huge bummer.
My
for me.
client is dying tomorrow. I know exactly what I'm going to do.
I do. I would keep it light. Cottage cheese and half a melon.
What a meal before death.
So
That's the
French.
well, so your client's dying tomorrow, and and that's the first meal. Your client is famously going to eat 12 meals, so I'd be curious what all 12 are going to be.
Cottage cheese in first honeydew, and then cantaloupe, and then watermelon, and maybe I'd switch up the cheese too. Like the first one would be cottage cheese and a honeydew, but then I'd do maybe a pecorino romano
Whoa.
in a horned melon or something. Just something
Sounds like
light.
sex to me.
Whatever it is, it has to be light.
Yeah.
I don't want him going to wherever he's going with a heavy tummy. The heavier the tummy, the closer to hell. So the lighter the
It's an old
stomach,
adage I've heard, yeah.
the quicker you float up there.
Yeah.
No one likes a glutton.
True.
No.
And for your client, something like a jalapeno popper on a foot.
I don't like the way you said it, but correct. Exactly correct. It's going to be a jalapeno popper. You know, they might.
One?
Well, it depends on the rocker. You know, I think a lot of them actually just want a plate of mozzarella sticks that taste like they're from the Belly Up in San Diego, which is it's a rock concert venue that people love. You know, it usually is a meal that they ate when they were coming up in some club that gave them their big shot. Poetic in kind of a way. A lot of times is buffalo wings, celery, stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this recipe for chickpeas that makes me smile endlessly.
Oh my god.
And
in it?
as
What's
you
in
know, I don't use my hands, so it's chickpeas and paprika. And I don't use I use only my hands, and so normally you'd air fry them, but I don't believe in air fryers. I think they're evil. So I would put them on the counter, and with my hands I whip, and I whip my hands 300 miles an hour, and I flip those chickpeas into a crispy, lovely little snack. And that's what my
Wow,
women
you
would eat.
understand how incredible that is. She moves her hand so quickly that it produces enough heat to fry a chickpea.
Incredible.
And you know what I'm just realizing?
Yes.
I know you, but I know you from those unbelievably long articles you write on the internet before the recipe.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's all me. Guilty as charged.
When I Google how to make a caprese salad and I have to go through 4 paragraphs about just basil history,
Yes, guilty as
When
charged.
you say
And
basil history, of course, you mean BASAL, basil history about her like personal life.
basil history,
yeah.
the history
basil
of basil,
history,
yes.
yes. No, companies will contract me out because, you know, those people who write recipes, they should be spending their time writing recipes. They shouldn't have to do
Yeah.
the narrative work. And I have a BA in literature, and so I lend my services.
Wow.
That is exactly who you are.
What would
that
you
makes
make?
sense.
Last meal to cook.
Housewives
dying tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, she's gonna want a juice, but I'm not gonna let her do it. You know what I mean? This happens a lot before they do red carpet stuff. They wanna eat something that just makes them feel lean and just whatever. But you know, I always have to remind them, like, what if I made this salad chips? You know, just get them to eat. I think. Let me think here. I think I make a mean mango salad with strawberries and goat cheese. And
Yum.
yeah,
Yum.
stick that. And then if I was feeling it, I'd put maybe some garbanzo beans in there for a protein. Just a nice way to go.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
You call them garbanzo beans, and I call them chickpeas.
Whoa.
There's so many different ways to be a chef.
I call them Zabumafu's little treats.
You do live in a
Oh.
compound. What about you? What do you call them?
I call them gay nuts for my clients.
There's so many ways to be a chef.
Yeah,
yes,
we've
it's
just gotten into
beautiful.
the homophobia with my clients. We won't talk about that right now, but that is maybe another.
Oh, that's a core of it. And oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
what do you call a tomato? Tomato? What do you call it?
ketchup for me.
Oh my god.
I call it poo poo.
Okay, someone's getting crazy. That was a really funny joke coming from you. That is really funny.
And that's the third time I've said it, and I won't do it anymore.
I call it tomato.
okay.
Tomato, whatever it is, I call it peeled. To go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, peeled, of course. Well,
You can peel that.
yes. You know, I guess as we wrap up and as we probably all have to get back into the kitchen.
Oh god.
I do have a question
to. I mean,
and
you're
you
out.
can
You
leave.
have free will.
We can get you out if you want.
He's got the epidermal chip.
The what?
The chip just beneath my first layer of skin.
Oh my god.
Oh,
It's a
no,
computer
he's
chip,
got
not a
your
potato
chip.
chip.
Yeah.
I thought it was a chip. I
if
thought
I-
you had a potato chip under your skin. That would be hurtful.
No. If I walk outside of the boundary, my legs will freeze up like I'm a shopping cart, and it just drags me back.
Shopping.
Okay.
Oh, that's so troubling.
Oh, it's yes.
So troubling.
I know a
And
bunch of women that need chefs if you need to come.
Women, I would rather die. No, I would rather die.
All right, don't come with me then. Go back to your compound.
Did you have a question?
Oh yeah, I was talking. Oh yes, I was talking, and more than that, I'm living, I'm laughing, I'm loving. Okay. Here's my question. Final question. You walk into a Surlatab and you're the king of Surlatab for a day.
No. Hey,
What do you do?
ma'am, this is a terrible question. I'm the king. I'm the king of Sur La Table for a day.
For a day. What do you do?
No.
No. All right, we'll find it. Do you guys have an idea for a final question?
I have a question. Go ahead. No, let's hear.
No,
question.
you ask yours, and then I'll ask mine.
Why don't we each ask a question and we'll answer our own question?
We'll audition out the final
Yeah,
questions.
what's your question?
Describe your perfect dinner.
Nice. What's yours?
My question is, if you were a dish, what would you be?
Oh, that's really
I would be
that's
rank the
good.
chips.
Okay, so let's go through all of them.
Nah. Let's go. Through
And
all.
I'm going to
Rapid
stick with
fire.
the Sur La Table King question. I think I was actually onto something.
I don't know.
I don't know
Okay.
if that's a noun.
So now we're all gonna go around and answer
We're
all of
lost
them.
in the sauce.
We're
We're
gonna-
lost in the sauce.
We're gonna answer all of them one by one with all four. So go ahead and you go
Oh,
first.
with all four. Okay,
Yeah.
can we get a reminder of the order really
So-
quickly?
And
Sur
I'll
La-
change my question. It's gonna be, what's your favorite chip?
Okay, King of Sur La Table for a
King
day.
of Sur La Table for a day.
Describe your perfect dinner.
Describe your perfect dinner.
If you were a meal, what would
If
you
you
be?
were a meal, what would you be? And
Favorite
rank
chip.
every chip.
No, favorite chip.
Favorite chip. If I were king of Sur La Table, I would sing on the pans.
You sing?
My favorite meal. My favorite meal is a meatball who's up to no good. If I were a meal, I would be a flirty mushroom. And my favorite chip is Tostitos Hint of Lime.
Scoop or no scoop?
Scoop.
if I were the king of a Sur La Table,
Yes.
I would I would pay for all the orphans to have school.
I know this lore.
That's a
because
good thing.
I'm the king.
Good.
Yes.
And
Yes, of course.
then my question was, describe your perfect dinner. And that's very easy. It opens with a palate cleansing soup. The second course is also a palate cleansing soup. And then the entree is a palate cleansing soup. And then for dessert, peach pie eaten off of the 1,000-Pound Sisters.
Hard right turn. Hard right turn.
Hard right
It's like
turn.
sushi on Samantha in Sex and the City.
If I was a dinner, I would be a Marie Callender's sirloin steak.
That's sad.
And rank the chips. Fritos.
Your favorite's Frito. That's
Yep.
good for me.
Great. All right, if I was king of Sur La Table for a day, I would just demolish the monarchy because it doesn't make any sense to me to have a king in that store. That's a capitalist organization, and I
Okay,
don't
well-
subscribe to it.
Okay.
Is it a store?
It's a store, King of Sur La Table at the Glendale Galleria, Americana.
Sur la table?
Sur la table. That's. Oh, what did you think? We were saying?
I actually didn't know what the word meant.
Yeah, no, I didn't know either.
Oh, I get it.
I thought it was
does
like
sound
a-
quite like a country. Yes.
Yeah, I
Sur
thought
la
it was like a
table.
Williams-Sonoma.
To me, it's a country.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, I would demolish the monarchy, people for all.
Yeah.
If my perfect meal would probably be just a really nice salad and then a pizza I made by hand with jalapenos, goat cheese, and bacon with a nice mozzarella base.
Mozzarella base. He hates cheese.
Okay. If I were to have a meal that, what's my dish? Unfortunately, I think I am a very delicious spice on the most stereotypical wing you've ever seen. And favorite chip, I'm gonna go with let's go with the freaking motherfucking fucking jalapeno kettle chips.
Well, don't be so angry when you say it.
Jeez.
Well, they're spicy.
You seem pissed off.
I am fucking pissed off, dude.
If I'm king of Sur La Table for the day, I'm Googling Sur La Table.
Nice.
Nice.
What do
Okay.
you
Everyone
guys-
has to burn me on the first question. I answered yours.
We are in the oven.
It's getting hot in here. What's the second question? What's my last meal? No, I asked that.
Perfect.
What is your perfect
What's
dinner?
your perfect dinner?
My perfect dinner. My perfect dinner is
Yeah, adjust your seating position.
my perfect dinner is a nice.
You almost got it.
It's a New York hot dog.
Yes.
Ooh.
New York hot dog and a bag of cashews.
Ah, the city.
What's your question?
Ah, the city.
What meal would you be?
I'd be a New York hot dog and a bag of cashews.
Okay.
And my chip, I'd have to go with tortilla chips, no salsa.
Nice.
All right. No brand, huh?
Uh-uh.
Well, I'll see you guys at the Mixer. This was really fun. Can't
Thank
wait
God
for
we
the Mixer's
did
in
this.
Dubai this year, right?
Mixers in Dubai. I'm
yeah.
so excited.
Hell
I've
yeah.
bought a million different kinds of leaves, and I'm going to cook them, and we're going to eat them, and it's going to be spectacular. What are you guys wearing?
Whatever I'm told. Your turn.
I'll probably be wearing a black T-shirt, sleeves cut off.
What am I gonna wear to the Mixer in Dubai this year? I'll probably wear. I'll probably wear something of Luann's, Countess Luann, whatever she has in her closet.
And I'd like to change my answer.
Yeah.
A clean tunic.
Okay.
Hey, cheers to a clean tunic,
Hey.
everybody.
Cheers to a
Cheers to a
clean
clean
tunic.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. And bon appetit.
This
Oh,
has
you
been-
hate me when you said that. I said bon appetit and you guys hate me.
This has been Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists answering the question. Now that's why they call it show business. Good night, Hollywood.
Chef kiss.
Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists is an improvised Hollywood Roundtable podcast created and performed and produced by Kylie Brakeman, Jeremy Colhane, Angela Giratana, and Patrick McDonald. Music is by Gabriel Ponton. The opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect the opinions of anyone who works on it, not even the performers, because this is an improvised podcast and we're stupid. Full video versions of AOAOAOA are available on YouTube, so please like and subscribe and leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Good night, Hollywood.